The divine defiance of Pir Bhikan Shah. On the outskirts of Patiala, hidden within the lush embrace of an ancient forest, lay the humble village of Kadam. Here, amidst the serenity of nature, stood a revered ashram where holy men devoted their lives to divine communion. Among these spiritual stalwarts was Pir Bhikan Shah, a mystic whose wisdom and piety drew seekers from near and far. His presence was a beacon of hope and spiritual refuge in a world often engulfed by turmoil. The year was 1666, a time when Emperor Aurangzeb's rule cast a shadow over the subcontinent. His zeal for enforcing Islamic Sharia law was carried out with ruthless precision by local qazis, who wielded authority with an iron hand. In this climate of religious orthodoxy and fear, Pir Bhikan Shah's ashram served as a sanctuary, a sacred space where devotion transcended dogma and seekers found solace in the divine's embrace. The celestial call. On a crisp morning, as the first light of dawn filtered through the dense canopy of the forest, Pir Bhikan Shah prepared for his morning prayers. This ritual, an integral part of his daily devotion, was a moment of spiritual communion. His prayer mat was placed with precision, facing west towards Mecca, as tradition dictated. Yet, even as he bowed his head in preparation, a fragrant breeze drifted from the east, carrying with it an inexplicable energy. Intrigued, the Pir turned to the source of this unseen allure. What met his eyes was a celestial display, an ethereal glow illuminating the eastern horizon, as though the heavens had woven a tapestry of divine light. In that moment, Pir Bhikan Shah felt a stirring deep within his soul. It was as if the divine itself beckoned him to break free from convention and embrace a higher truth. With profound conviction, he turned his prayer mat to face the east, defying centuries of ritual and tradition. His act, simple yet profound, was a silent proclamation of faith in the divine call he had felt. As he began his nawaz, his prayers carried the resonance of a heart aligned with the universe's rhythm. Among his disciples, confusion and trepidation rippled like a wave. Some were awestruck by the Pir's audacity, while others, fearing the repercussions, slipped away to report his transgression to the local qazi. News of Pir Bhikan Shah's unorthodox act enraged the qazi. To him, this deviation was an affront to established order, a challenge to the rigid orthodoxy he upheld. Clad in his magisterial robe and armed with his red book of authority, the qazi marched towards the ashram, a retinue of anxious disciples trailing behind. Reaching the forest sanctuary, the qazi's fury erupted like a storm as he witnessed Pir Bhikan Shah kneeling in prayer, facing the east. With a swift and merciless kick, the qazi knocked the holy man to the ground. Gasps filled the air as the assembled disciples and followers watched in shock. Yet Pir Bhikan Shah rose with unwavering grace, his composure unbroken. Undeterred, he resumed his prayers, his spirit unyielding in the face of earthly aggression. This act of defiance only fueled the qazi's rage. He threatened unimaginable punishments, ready to inscribe the harshest judgment in his red book. But as the qazi's eyes met those of Pir Bhikan Shah, something extraordinary occurred. Within the Pir's gaze, the qazi saw the infinite cosmos, a reflection of divine wisdom and compassion. The ground beneath him seemed to tremble, as if nature itself protested his wrath. Overwhelmed by an inexplicable force, the qazi stumbled backward, his fury replaced by a confused fear. The confrontation had lasting repercussions. Most of Pir Bhikan Shah's disciples, terrified of the qazi's wrath and the emperor's retribution, abandoned their spiritual leader. Only 2 disciples remained steadfast, their faith unshaken by the storm of opposition. Together they embarked on a pilgrimage to Patna, driven by an inner conviction that their journey was divinely ordained. Word had reached them of the birth of a child in Patna, one destined to illuminate the world. This child, born to Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Guru of the Sikhs, was believed to be a divine incarnation. The journey to Patna was arduous, but the small group pressed on with unyielding determination. Upon arriving in the bustling city, they sought the household where the divine child, Gobind Rai, resided. The atmosphere around the home was charged with a sense of sanctity, as though the very air bore witness to the presence of the extraordinary. When Pir Bhikan Shah finally stood before the infant Gobind Rai, he felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The child's eyes, luminous and wise beyond their years, seemed to hold the mysteries of the universe. To test the divine nature of this child, Pir Bikhan Shah presented two pots, one filled with milk and the other with water, symbolizing the Hindu and Muslim communities. Gobind Rai, with a serene smile, placed his hands on both pots, a gesture that transcended words. In this simple act, he conveyed a profound truth. He was here not for one faith or community, but for all of humanity. His mission was to bridge divides, inspire unity, and guide the oppressed towards freedom and enlightenment. The legacy of the encounter. This encounter etched itself into the hearts of all present, a moment of divine affirmation that would resonate through the ages. Pir Bikhan Shah returned to Kadam, his spirit rejuvenated and his faith in the divine strengthened. His journey to Patna and the luminous presence of Gobind Rai became a beacon of hope for all who heard his tale. For Pir Bikhan Shah, the act of turning his prayer mat to the east symbolized more than a defiance of orthodoxy. It was a testament to his unwavering faith in the divine's omnipresence and the transcendent unity of all creation. A beacon for generations, the story of Pir Bikhan Shah and his encounter with Gobind Rai stands as a timeless testament to courage, faith, and the power of divine connection. It reminds us that true devotion knows no boundaries and that the divine call, when answered, can transcend earthly divisions. As history unfolded, Gobind Rai grew into Guru Gobind Singh Ji, a spiritual and temporal leader who would dedicate his life to justice, equality, and the upliftment of humanity. His teachings and actions continue to inspire millions across the globe, embodying the unity and harmony Pir Bikhan Shah had glimpsed in that sacred moment. The divine encounter between Pir Bikhan Shah and Gobind Rai is not merely a tale of faith. It is a clarion call for humanity to rise above differences, embrace unity, and recognize the divine spark in all beings, a story that will echo through the corridors of time, guiding countless souls toward the light of truth and compassion.